All right, now I want you to tell the story of what happened at the last place you lived.
Oh, okay. Like, I have a lot of stories from there. Okay, the final reason I left?
Sure.
When
Which
I,
which one's
when
the
I,
most which one's the most exciting?
okay, probably not. The most exciting story,
Or
I'll start
the
with
one with the guy jumping off. Is that the most exciting one?
jumping. Oh, yes, that is.
Yeah, tell that one.
Okay. So I used to live in this crazy apartment complex, like just a year and a half ago. And so we had this guy who was fighting with his girlfriend all the time. And,
But there was a bunch of people there fighting with each other, right?
well, there's always people fighting at this complex. This is like totally ghetto. So anyway, this guy was fighting with his girlfriend all the time. And he got mad at her, and he set her clothes on fire and threw them down to the balcony below. Caught that thing on fire.
And he was like 3 stories up, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's 3 stories up. Caught that crap on fire, and then he ends up jumping off the balcony. And I don't know if you heard his foot or whatever. Then one of the other times he jumped off, he did. Everybody calls the cops. He's like runs off in the woods.
Because he set the stuff on fire, and didn't he like set the building on fire too?
Well, he set their porch, like that porch area on, like it all caught on fire, and then that and stuff.
While he was hurling the clothes over the
Well,
edge.
he was hurling clothes over the edge, like catching them on fire, hurling all these clothes over the edge. Then lighter fluid, then matches, caught it on fire. And the girlfriend had ran and went to the apartment below, and that's why he was throwing all her stuff off the balcony, caught it on fire, jumped off the balcony because people called the cops, takes off running out in the woods. Cops are trying to find him everywhere. Couldn't find him. Then he ends up coming back the next day. He's back to the stupid apartment. And you know how we knew he was back at the apartment? Okay, we had like all these cops looking for this guy everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he came back to the apartment, got in another fight with somebody else there. And then he told everybody in the building, like he just went out front and was like, I want to set this whole damn apartment complex on fire. It's going to burn. This whole place is going to burn. We're like, oh, great. So then they call the cops again. He takes off, jumps off the balcony again, takes off. And I think that's the time he like broke his leg or hurt it or something. Anyway, he's like hobbling, and everybody's seen him
How long
hobbling.
did he run off in the woods?
It took them like 2 weeks to find this dude. Like he just kept
He was gone for 2 weeks?
He was back and forth. No, he kept coming back and forth. So one day, me and a bunch of the guys were all sitting around the pool, and we see the dude walk out of his balcony. And the police, like, it was on the news. Like, everybody's looking for this guy. And they're like, he's threatening to set the whole apartment complex on fire.
All because of this girl.
All because of this girl. Because they won't. And he was like, if you don't give me my damn girlfriend, I'm going to set the whole place on fire. And she's hiding in different people's apartments.
If that doesn't say love, I don't know what does.
That definitely, that's how you know it's true love.
If you're gonna burn down the building to get to him,
that
is love.
That's love for sure. So we're sitting there at the pool one day, in the middle of all this, and we see the guy just walk ass out of his balcony like nothing's going on. Like, oh, ain't nobody, we don't have the whole state looking for me. I'm just like walking. So he just walks on out. I'm sitting there at the pool with the guys, and I'm like, the dude's like right there, and the whole freaking police force can't find him. Really? So one of the guys calls the cops and is like, hey, he's here. He's like on his balcony. Like, okay, if somebody is trying to catch buildings on fire, threatening, like he beat the hell out of this girl too. Like he beat the hell out of her. Bad. Yeah. And then he got in another fight with the 2 guys next to him and beat the hell out of one of those guys. Like this guy's like a menace.
Yeah.
So he beat the hell out of this one guy next door, beat the hell out of the girlfriend. Tried to catch the building on fire, running from the cops for 2 weeks. Okay, so the police should think there's a problem. Like this dude needs to be picked up and arrested.
So this guy is sus.
Yes, he is. He's sus. So anyway, the guy is just on his balcony. Well, you would think he keeps coming back to his apartment. Yeah. And he doesn't come in the front door. He climbs up the balcony to get in because the cops keep coming, doing drive-bys.
Yeah.
But if I was a police officer, I'm not knocking the cops. Like, I think the cops do a great job. But in this one case, if he's the most wanted person in your area, which he was, they said that on our news.
Yeah.
Post a cop at the back of the apartment and at the front because possibly he might sneak in the back door, which is what he did for 2 weeks. And they never came. They never came and thought about that. So the rest of us found him over and over, but the police force did not.
Well.
So there you go. So we had that. That was crazy.
And he wasn't the only crazy one over there, was he?
Oh, no.
What was another one?
No. Okay, another one we had in, like, I was coming home. We had these guys in the building next to me who they didn't work. They just stole cars for a living. and I knew I had trouble because...
What respectable people.
Very respectable. So I knew I had trouble because they lived in this building next to me, and it's like all these guys sitting out on the benches out front drinking all the time. Like you could leave at like 9 a.m., they're sitting there drinking. You come home at 10 at night from work, there they are. So anyway, and I come home one night. I'd only been there like maybe a month or two. Come home one night, and I see this guy with a Slim Jim breaking in a car, and it's one of those guys that's always sitting on the bench. Yeah, or whatever you call it, like that big metal thing, like the cops used to
coat hanger?
get in. No, like the big metal thing.
Slim Jim's a snack.
Well, whatever. I don't know. Isn't that like the term for that big metal thing they used to like slide in and like get the door open?
I don't know. I've never heard it called a Slim Jim.
Okay, well, back in the day,
you can get Slim Jims at gas stations.
6,000 years ago, we called this thing that the cops would use to help you get in your car if you're locked out.
Well, now we call them coat hangers.
Well, it wasn't a coat hanger. It was like this big metal piece of metal about like this wide.
Well, whenever you were a kid, you probably didn't have coat hangers.
No, we didn't. We had rocks. All we had was rocks.
You piled everything up in the floor and you say, I don't know what we're going to do with this stuff.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even have stuff. Like, are you serious? So anyway, this guy's let's just say he's actively breaking in a car.
No.
And I park and I'm trying to walk to my building. And I know this guy just from passing. Like I always say, hey to the guys when I come in and out because I don't want no trouble. So I come in, walking in the parking lot, see him breaking in this car. I look over at him and he goes, shh. And I was like, okay. So I walk in. And I look at these, like, there was so much crime in that place. I'm always looking at the crime reports to see, like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
There's cars being stolen from that apartment complex daily. And I was wondering, what the hell's going on? Well, now I know. One of the guys sitting on the bench is stealing cars.
Out of his own complex.
Yeah, out of his own complex, yeah. So I walk past those guys all the time to go to the pool. So I'm walking past the guys, and one day I see that same guy in this gray truck. And then a couple days later, I see him in a different colored truck. And I'm checking the mail, and he's always saying hi to me. All the guys are saying hi. So I said, well, I thought you had a gray truck. And he was like, I have a lot of different trucks. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, he was constantly in a different vehicle. And so then, you know, they're constantly doing all this stuff back and forth. I'm always seeing him in different cars, or he's out there drunk and walking back and forth. So, and this one guy has this tattoo, like from almost his hairline, and it goes all the way down his face, like over his eye and all the way down his face.
Like it covers his whole face?
No, it's like about this wide, and it just goes all the way down.
Like a stripe?
It was a feather. I don't know what the hell that's about, but it's a feather.
That covered his eye?
Covered his eye, yep, and went all the way down. So, crazy dude. So, and that's the one stealing all the cars. So, anyway, so he's got that going on, and he's in the apartment building right next to mine, but that building is facing the back of my building.
Yeah.
So, like, if I sit on my patio, his balcony, he's facing me, and he can see me. So that guy from the very beginning would lean over his balcony and be staring into my patio door. And it was like, because he didn't work, all he did was steal cars.
Yeah.
So anytime I would open my blinds, I swear to God, there was that guy standing there on his balcony and leaning over, looking into my apartment. So one day I'm just sitting there watching TV, and I had the blinds open. And I was watching TV and I wasn't paying attention. I looked up and there he is leaning over, staring at me. So then I asked my son to come over and sit, your brother, to come over and sit and switch recliners with me. So he switches recliners with me, and because where the other recliner I'm sitting in, he wouldn't be able to see me.
Yeah.
So the guy is leaning. He leans over the balcony where he almost falls off the balcony trying to stare at me. And your brother's like, Mom, like this dude's going to fall. Trying to stare at you. Because we were just trying to test, like, what the hell? Is he going to keep on? And he was
at least he wasn't throwing down flaming clothes.
Yeah, he wasn't throwing down flaming clothes. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. So anyway, the end of the whole car stealing story. My car gets totaled, and these guys, and I had it towed to the complex, and I was just gonna like just sell it for $100 or $200, whatever I get, Yeah. So the guys came up to me, and they said, "What are you gonna do with that car?" And I says, "Well, I'm just gonna, try to sell it for like $100 or whatever." And they said, "Well, we'll buy it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I said, "All right, cool." So I said, "Well, I'm not sure how we do this because I haven't lived here all that long. How do you sell a car? Like, what's the paperwork and all
He's
this
like,
stuff?"
"Don't worry, I got it."
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So the guy that always steals the cars says, "Hey, well, my friend, he takes care of all the papers." So he says, "Let me get him." So the other guy, he comes over and he was like, "Yeah, you need to go to this website, print this, do this, bring it to me, and I'll fill it all out for you." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Yeah, we do this all the time." So I did whatever he said, printed it off, and I see the van like a month later, and they had done all this crap to it. They said they found parts to fix it and to resell it.
Because the door and everything was smashed on it, right?
The door was smashed.
The driver door and
and the sliding door. It was the old van. The sliding door was smashed.
Yeah. But there's probably just like another van just like it running around without a door because they stole that door to put it on that one.
Probably.
And then there's probably another one somewhere else that doesn't have a sliding door because they had to steal that to put that on there.
Yeah. So anyway, so then another day I was coming home late and two of the guys were breaking in a car. And I saw them.
They were on double duty?
Yeah. So two of them were actively breaking in a car. It's the same guys I sold the van to. So, and I walk up and I was just like trying to act like I didn't see nothing. Well, they knew I did. So they said, hey girl, now you did us a solid on that van. Everything you said was right with it was right, and everything that was wrong was wrong. You did us a solid. So I tell you what, we're going to watch out for you. And you didn't see nothing tonight. And I said, "Oh, I didn't see nothing." So I go back to my apartment next day, walk past them to go to the pool. And they're like, "All right, what would you like us to do?" I said, "You know what I would really like you to do is watch that little red car," because I got a brand new car. Watch that little red car, keep that car safe. And I don't know nothing y'all are doing. And that's all I'm asking. Keep that car safe.
What else were they offering?
That I had no idea, but I didn't want to get in the middle of nothing. But I was like, "Can you just make sure you watch that car and keep that car safe?" And they're like, "Yeah." So they did, and there was cars broke into all the time around there, but my little red car, no problem, because I did them a solid. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is, if there's someone stealing cars, be friends with them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So
yeah, I was trying to be friends with them, but I didn't want my car stolen. No, but then the last reason I got out of that place, well, of course, we had all that craziness.
Yeah. And that stuff was going on like every day, right?
All the time. Yeah, we had this guy above us one time. He lived in the apartment above us, and we heard the most hellacious fight. We thought, it was unbelievable. And he was a drug dealer. The guy above me was a drug dealer, so nobody told anything. So there was this hellacious fight we could hear. And I ain't calling the cops because we all know what that guy does. So all of a sudden somebody starts knocking on all of our doors. And this guy's knocking on my door and I ain't answering it. And he knocks on everybody's door and he's like starts hollering, "I just need $10. I just need $10. We ain't opening the door. And so this little old lady across from me, I heard her talking to somebody. So I looked through the peephole, and she's talking to that guy. And he's all bloody. And so he got beat up by the guy upstairs because he didn't have his money probably.
Yeah.
"I just need $10, and I swear I'll leave all y'all alone." She said, "No." So then we hear a bunch of fighting and carrying on a little while, like a couple weeks later. And it just went on. And then I heard sound like something fell off the balcony. Well, that guy had jumped off the balcony and down onto my patio and took off running. I was like, well, what the hell? And then a little bit later, we hear it sounds like somebody's beating the door down. And I looked, and there is a fire truck out front, an ambulance, all this stuff. So what they had done, and I came out my back door and went around the front, and I saw the fire department had an axe, and they were beating that door down with an axe. And they ended up taking that guy's girlfriend out on a stretcher. Her face was unrecognizable. He had beat the hell out of her.
And that guy.
He beat that one guy, but yeah, he beat the hell out of her.
Jeez.
So, and then
so I guess they wouldn't open the door, so they had to just chop the door
they
down
had to
get
chop
in?
the door down to get her out. Yeah, and then he jumped off the balcony and took off running.
And is this the same guy that jumped off before and was throwing the clothes out?
Oh no, this is my building. This is a different guy. This is the drug.
So there's two different guys that have jumped off from the balcony.
The drug dealer in my building above me jumped off the balcony because I guess she'd called the cops, and probably other people did too. I mean, you would not believe that fight. It was so loud. It's not like somebody was taking a couch and beating it against the wall. It was that crazy, that kind of crazy. So, but yeah, they actually took an axe and was cutting down, like beating the door open with an axe to get to her. Yeah, it was crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. So there was that, and then the very, very last straw was there was these two guys, homeless guys, I was coming home one day. One homeless guy's in front of me, and you could tell they're homeless because they had like the backpack with the sleeping bag on the bottom. That's like the signature homeless thing. I guess they like pass those out for everybody's gonna be homeless, and there you go.
They go to the homeless store before they become homeless.
Yeah, because that's like
and get everything they need.
Yeah, because that's how you know. So anyway, one guy's in the breezeway way in front of me, and there's another guy behind me, and I'm just trying to put my key in the door and get the hell in there before something crazy happens. And the one guy says to the guy behind me, he says, I found a place for us to put our tent tonight, dude. This looks like a good spot. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I just so I'm like turning my doorknob to get in. And the guy says, he looks at me and he says, hey, lady, we don't want any trouble now. We don't want any trouble now. I was like, you leave me alone? I'll leave you alone. I don't have any problem with that. And there's woods behind the building, so I'm thinking they're putting the tent like way back there. I'm not thinking it's like right against the building beside my patio. I didn't think it was there.
Well, they want to be close to the building.
Apparently. So 2:00 in the morning, I hear something at my window. I jump up and go to the window, and it's one of those guys with a screwdriver looking me dead in the eye, trying to get into my window. And the window had already cracked. So when I first heard it, that was him messing with my window. And then I looked to the right, and the other guy was standing there too on the sidewalk. So they were trying to break in my apartment. So that was the final straw. Called the cops. The cops went looking for him. And the cops said that the tent was right behind the building, like right almost next to my my little patio.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he said they left all their shit. The cops said they left everything. So they left in a hurry. So, but when I saw the guy, I screamed, and then he took off. Both of them took off. So called the cops and told them, and they looked everywhere. They never could find him. And I was out there. I was done. I'm done.
He was probably all coked up.
It's hard to tell, but yeah, when you have that stuff going on, it's time to move.
Yeah.